This video is going to be about using caulking. Now this is a concrete garage floor and I caulked it and you can't notice it. I'm going to show you a couple secrets that I use as a mason to disguise things, and they're not always the proper way to do it, but they work. So in this video I'm going to show you a garage floor, I'm going to show you a concrete driveway, and I'm going to show you how I do stucco. Now here's a crack in the concrete floor. First thing we could do is we try to get it out with the broom. If you're lucky enough and you have a compressor, you can blow it out like that. So this is the stuff I'm using, concrete repair, and the reason I like it is because it has a little grit in it. So I cut it sideways like that, shove that down to break the seal, and we're going to force it in this crack. Just like that. We're not going to worry about it bubbling up because we're going to fix that. What's going on with this crack is it's a frost crack. The frost gets under it in the winter and it lifts it up, and it's going to happen every year. This stuff is flexible. I'm going to show you how I fix it. I get the trowel and I flatten it out. It don't look pretty, but we're going to make it pretty. And we're going to force it in there like that. It looks like, no, we're going to fix that. I'm going to show you what I do. So now we put it in the crack. You get a bucket of water like this. Rinse the sponge out. Go right over the edges of it, just like that. Now this is my way of doing things. Might be a little different than most, but I want to hide this caulking. I don't want it to look like hell. I'm going to show you how I do it. So the same thing over here, we're just cleaning it up and we're evening that out even with the concrete to make it look like it belongs there. So now I'm going to show you how I disguise it. Okay, here's what I'm going to do to disguise it. What I did was I swept up the garage and I took the dirt, because that's why the concrete's all dirty, is that's the dirt. Then we're going to just go over the top of it like that. See that? That's going to disguise that concrete, where it looks like it's been there for a long time. You get it? So, okay, and I just throw the dirt over it just so you see how I'm doing it. Pretty kind of cheesy way to do it, but you know what? It works. Today I'm going to fix a crack in a driveway. I really don't like using caulking, but every once in a while I do. And I only use it if everything else fails. So I'm just going to show you what I'm doing and why I'm doing it on certain jobs only. So the first thing is we want to get up all this loose stuff if it comes up. Just like that. If it's in there, leave it in there. So then we brush it all out, get all the loose stuff out of there. That's what I'm using, a concrete repair. I'm just going to start caulking it in there. I'm going to get my trowel, kind of flatten it out. And then get a little sponge and just kind of go over it. That's going to kind of flatten that out. Make it more look like the rest of the driveway. You don't have no big edges. It cleans up with the sponge. It cleans up with water. So that's it. If it looks too much like hell, you can go get yourself a bag of Portland cement, stick your thing in, just go like this. That'll hide that. You see that? It hides that crack. that Portland cement's going to hide that crack. That's just going to stain that caulking just enough where you're not going to notice it. And we're just going to get our sprayer real lightly. Just go over the top of it. That's going to make sure that cement gets wet and sticks there. Now we're going to do a little caulking here. And right here, this is a regular block house. It's made out of cinder block. It goes 4 feet down. But this one right here, this is made out of wood and it's on a slab. So we got a crack right here. It's always going to happen. Anytime you got anything on 2 different foundations. I don't like using a lot of caulking, but sometimes you have to. On a situation like this, I'll show you how I do it. So this is what I'm going to use for this. It's a concrete mortar filler and sealant, and it's paintable and it's flexible. That's what I'm looking for. So I'm just going to cut it off to where I think I want it to be. And then I'm going to kind of force it into the crack. That's what I want to do. I want to force it in so it goes in there pretty deep. Forcing it in that crack. Now this is stucco, so we kind of just get our finger in there like that. Kind of force it in that way. We want it to kind of match the stucco. It's paintable. So we're trying to make it to match the stucco with our finger. Also, you can get a little paintbrush if you want to. That helps disguise it a little better. If you want to really hide it, wet your paintbrush a little bit and go like that. That'll kind of bleach that all out like that. So now we just get a little paintbrush, a little paint. Could be stucco, anything you want. Just go over it, that's all. To hide that caulking and make it look like the rest of the building. Another thing you do is just get some dry cement. You see it's all dry in there? And if the stucco is, or the caulking is still tacky, you can go right over it like that too. That's another little trick I use. Depending on where you are. That hides a lot of sins also. Now right here, we're walking up on the other side of the building. And here's that little crack. You see that little crack? And that's because this was added on this room right here to the rest of the place. So what happens is every time you're on 2 different foundations, you're going to get a little crack, and we're going to seal that up. So we cut this sideways. We're going to take that sideways part and shove it right in there, so we're kind of forcing it in. Can't brag about this because I learned this from painters. But once we get it in there like that, some people just leave it like that, and we don't want it to look like that. We want to kind of disguise it. So we kind of, with stucco and concrete, we kind of do this. And we're going to paint right over the top of it, but we want to hide that crack the best we can. If you have to add a little more, you can look at it. If you want to get real crazy with it, you can do that too. Kind of rub it in where you can't see it. So we just get a little can of paint. This is going to dry the same color, and probably got to end up doing the same thing, but that's how you do it.